Welcome to this guided meditation. In this sacred time of reflection, let us turn our hearts and minds to the wondrous mystery of the Assumption of Mary, when the Blessed Mother was taken body and soul into heavenly glory. As devout Catholics, we approach this event with awe, recognizing Mary's unique role in salvation history. Through this guided meditation, we will explore 3 points that invite us to contemplate the Assumption, its significance, and the lessons it holds for us. Each point will be followed by a brief pause for personal reflection. Point 1. Mary's singular role. Begin by finding a tranquil space and taking a deep breath. Let us reflect on the words of the angel Gabriel in Luke 1:28. Hail, full of grace, the Lord is with you. Contemplate the profound privilege granted to Mary as she was chosen to bear the Son of God. Consider the words of St. John Damascene, quote, "It was fitting that the body of her who preserved her virginity intact in childbirth should be kept incorrupt after death." Unquote. In this moment of silence, ponder Mary's unique role in God's plan and the reverence with which her body was received into heaven. Now let us pause and reflect for a few minutes. Point 2. Mary's triumph over death and her everlasting intercession. Now, reflect on Mary's triumphant assumption into heavenly glory as proclaimed by Pope Pius XII in the Dogma of the Assumption. Quote, "Thus to conclude, the august Mother of God from all eternity joined in a hidden way with Jesus Christ in one and the same decree of predestination, immaculate in her conception, a most perfect virgin in her divine motherhood, the noble associate of the divine Redeemer who has won a complete triumph over sin and its consequences, finally obtained, as the supreme culmination of her privileges, that she should be preserved free from the corruption of the tomb, and that, like her own Son, having overcome death, she might be taken up body and soul to the glory of heaven where, as Queen, she sits in splendor at the right hand of her Son, the immortal King of the ages." Unquote. Contemplate Mary's everlasting intercession for us. Reflect on the words of St. Maximilian Kolbe, who said, quote, "The Immaculate alone has from God the promise of victory over Satan." Unquote. Visualize Mary's exalted position as Queen of Heaven, interceding for us before the throne of God and leading us towards eternal union with her Son. Now let us pause and reflect for a few minutes. Point 3. Anticipating our own glory. Shift your focus to the anticipation of our own glorious destiny. Recall St. Paul's words in 1 Corinthians 15:52. In a moment, in the twinkling of an eye, at the last trumpet, the trumpet shall sound, and the dead shall be raised incorruptible. Reflect on the words of Pope Pius XII. Mary's bodily assumption is a singular participation in her Son's resurrection and an anticipation of the resurrection of other Christians. As you imagine the scene of Mary's glorious assumption into heaven, see it as a glimpse of the future glory of the resurrection of the body that awaits all those who follow Christ. Now let us pause and reflect for a few minutes. As we conclude this meditation, let us review the 3 points we've contemplated. We've reflected on Mary's singular role, her everlasting intercession, and the anticipation of the glorious resurrection of our bodies. Through Mary's assumption, we glimpse the fulfillment of God's promises and our own heavenly destiny. May this meditation inspire us to strive for holiness, to align our lives with Christ, and to entrust ourselves to Mary's intercession. Dear Mother Mary, we humbly ask for your intercession to make up for anything lacking in our meditation. Help us to avoid the horrors of hell and one day attain the happiness of heaven. Amen. If you found comfort and reflection in this guided meditation, we invite you to consider subscribing to the Living the Faith YouTube channel. There you'll find an abundance of uplifting content that nurtures your spiritual growth and understanding.